Welcome. We thank you for listening with us today. We ask that you please stow away and secure all important items. There are no emergency exits. So, just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, this is Funny to Informing.
Welcome. We thank you for listening with us today. We ask that you please stow away and secure all important items. There are no emergency exits. So, just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, this is Funny to Informing.
Welcome. We thank you for listening with us today. We ask that you please stow away and secure all important items. There are no emergency exits. So, just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, this is Funny to Informing.
I like it.
Want to get a green screen shirt?
Welcome. We thank you for listening with us today. We ask that you please stow away and secure all important items. There are no emergency exits. So, just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Come on, Sorrel.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, this is Funny to Informing.
Do you need any sound check or anything?
Microphone checkup.
Good.
Yodelay-tee-hoo. Yellow.
Me.
Welcome. We thank
This
you
is
for
my normal
listening with
voice,
us
for the
today.
most part.
We ask that you please stow away and secure
And
all
I'm guessing
important
this
items.
is probably going to be
There
close
are
to my
no
normal voice.
emergency exits. So, just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Coming to you from sunny
Okay, I know,
Orlando,
because sometimes I was side
Florida,
micing.
this
And I was like,
is
I caught
Funny
myself
to
mid-show, I was like, I
Informing.
probably should get closer. Okay.
Is that the right height? Do you want it lower?
Yeah, no, I can adjust to it. It doesn't go higher. So there you go.
I don't
Look
put
right
it
into
on
it.
mic.
Gotcha. So when I look at Matt longingly in his eyes,
I figured I'll sit like
I'll take
Denny,
this-
so
I'll
if
take
anyone
this
says
on
I
a
look
walk.
fat on camera, it'll just be like, oh, it's because the way I'm sitting.
Welcome. We thank you for listening
it's
with
the
us
short,
today.
Freddie Mercury.
We ask that you please
Yeah.
stow away
Oh,
and
yeah.
secure all important items. There are no emergency exits. So, just sit back, relax, fasten your earbuds, and
All right, welcome. Come on in, have a seat, sit down, do whatever you're doing. This is episode 109 of Funny to Informing.
Is it 109? I was just going to ask you, what episode are we on?
It's 109 because 108 was the interview we had with Sid Vicious.
Oh, you're right.
Psycho Sid. And then, so this is FTI Live 8, though.
Oh, see, that's where it's throwing us off.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
FTI Live 8. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
I'm Chris Pizza Peisenberg Coleman. This is your host, John Hanan.
Hello.
John Hanonymous. Is that what we're calling you now? Gotcha.
Yeah, the king of brown bags. And then we
and
we
who
have
we
a
bring
guest
tonight?
Yeah, because it's the first show of the month. Like we said, once a month we were going to be having
the first of the month.
our guest on. Coco is joining us.
Our guest singer. He's going to serenade us with Bone Thugs and Harmony, undercurrenting the entire show. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man. It's always good to have you on. So, like I said, it's the top of the month, so we're going to be talking about some sports, a little bit later on, because October's here, so baseball postseason is kicking
Baseball
off.
postseason.
And then the
Mr.
NFL.
October, isn't that a thing? They call people that when they're good or something? When you're good at-
Derek Jeter was.
Oh, was that a
Mr.
nickname
October,
specifically for him?
Mhm.
Sorry, I brought that up.
Yeah, I was gonna. If I had
Jeter
to
sucks.
I was gonna guess that was like an award that somebody got like in the month, like whoever had the best postseason got Mr. October
you
every
could-
year.
Yeah, right?
They
Like
should
an
make it
MVP,
award.
a Mr. October award.
Well, they do. It's called MVP.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good. And we don't really have too much. I don't think we have Digi hears.
We
or
got
they'll be,
nothing.
We're
We're going
sporadic.
old school this week, guys. If you're looking now, you can see on camera. This is my notes this week.
We have no notes.
We're going old school. That's why we're like, Matt, come on in, join us, do sports talky stuff, and we do have a phone interview.
We do. We're talking to Jeff Davis. He's an actor, and he does other things. He's worked, as stage setting up equipment and stuff, and a
Some
little bit
stagehand
of
work,
Yeah.
some hand model work.
little bit of things here and
Brazier
there.
work.
He's a handy dude. We'll say that.
Yeah, and
No, Brazos.
Brazos.
Showdown on
Sorry.
the Brazzers.
and
Brazos.
and I
Sorry, I
have,
misspoke.
It's fine. I'll correct you. I like that Matt and I, pre-show, we coordinated pastel
right.
shirts. Part of the new gang, Pastel Pistols.
What up?
Don't fuck with us.
And then we have Scoop on the group, and
I like how you powered right through that.
Pizzas picks. Do you have pizza picks? Is that
yeah.
cool?
No, actually, I do. I do have a good pizzas pick this week.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because we were hanging out actually a few days ago. We actually got together because we don't really hang out too much.
Nope.
Outside of doing podcasting.
Just kind of like
anymore.
live a little bit far away.
Fuck this
Yeah,
guy.
we used to quite a bit, but not lately anymore. But it was cool. We your former co-host from 1K Away, Ken.
Yep.
We had a little bit of a pool party type thing going on.
Came down. He's got a new baby and went. and all
Yeah,
up
is that
and-
pretty much like? And I'm sure it's a short story, but is that pretty much why 1K Away for the most part stopped?
Main reason for that was Ken got an amazing job opportunity to move out of state, and we had a long conversation about trying to keep it going like remotely. But with him, the potential of him, or well, not the potential because he was, but becoming father of a young baby, going to a new job, it was just like, hey man. Like we really don't know what the requirement's going to be for everything for him when he relocated. So instead of trying to do something and then just dragging it on just to do it, it was just like, let's just, hey, we've had an amazing run. We made some great friends, and hopefully he wants to move back here eventually. And if that comes back, maybe 1K away.
It was cool to see him and meet the baby.
Yeah,
This past week.
Oh man, I mean, because family's
see
first.
his wife Michelle, absolutely. It was good to see them all in high spirits, and I've definitely been on that side of the show breaking up because people have to move across the state or to another state or whatever. Been there, done that.
Yeah,
I mean,
John, give it time.
I
One day,
know.
one of us will go away from here.
Don't tell me that,
No
buddy.
more shows.
Don't tell me that. Not
Can you
right
imagine
now.
if you moved out of Orlando, how long of a drive you'd have to go to pick him up?
Oh my God!
No, it depends where.
Once a
I
month
would.
shows.
Yeah.
You come get me in Miami.
Yeah, and you didn't look too bad actually when we were
Thanks.
at the pool party for the
Yeah.
Sober October. Like, I mean, it's only a few days in, granted,
I
but
didn't look too bad.
you are handling it well so far.
Oh yeah, I'm 3 days in. As we record, it's only 3 days in, and this has been my biggest challenge: podcasting.
Not
Without my
having a
podcast
beer
juice.
with.
Yeah, sponsored by G Fuel this week. Is that what we're calling it?
G Fuel.
Matt brought some
G Fuel.
powder in a bottle, and I'm trusting it with my life. So I'll let you guys know how it is. It's supposed to be like energy drink, right? No
Yep.
sugar, no.
Yeah, well, I mean, I
Bullshit.
think there's a little sugar, but it's
It's a pyramid scheme. You guys should buy in today.
Hey, it's a lot cheaper than the like 1 to 2 a day Red Bulls I was drinking. So
Okay.
Yeah.
And see, that's the boat I'm on. So
yeah.
if
Yeah.
it works and it saves you some money,
'Cause
and
shit.
you can be at the bottom of the pyramid, working your way towards that top.
That's right.
I mean, I'm here drinking a Monster and a Yingling.
You
So
know, honestly, I'm just waiting for November to start so we see Chris on No Sober November, where he's drunk every day.
I know.
Yeah, I'm probably going to be right
And when
back
his tolerance-
worse than ever.
his
You're right, with
tolerance
no
is way
tolerance.
down, and then
My bottles of JMO will last me 2 weeks.
you'll take 2 shots and be ripped out of your
Yeah,
mind.
oh yeah, can't wait.
Okay, so
Wake me up when November comes. Billy Joel had it wrong the whole time.
I don't know what to do with that.
Nothing. Just keep pressing forward.
Okay, there was a. Oh wait, okay. Did you? We didn't talk about this, I don't think yet, but I know you went to the Bone Thugs and Harmony concert recently.
Yep.
Are they? Because they're getting older, obviously. There's no way that it could have been like that.
That was actually last week,
Good of a-
right after we wrapped up the show. Remember, I was like, I gotta go as soon as we're done.
So were you doing the sober thing already?
No.
Okay.
But we were drinking. Yeah, no, we were drinking. We finished off the bottle of Jameson last week on the show, John. You forgot because we finished off the bottle of Jameson. But we did.
Okay.
And then right after that show, I went down to Hard Rock.
Quick question though: was a bag of any sort involved after finishing off that bottle of Jameson?
Nope.
When you
Actually,
off the
no.
show?
That we finished that off, and I drank a beer during the show, and then I left, and I didn't have anything else to drink the rest of that night.
I'm proud of you,
I was
John.
almost
And I
sober.
felt fine,
I was
yeah,
almost
I felt
sober
good.
October right there, and that was still September.
Okay, so
I was a good boy.
when you went to Bone Thug, do you remember the concert then?
I was
If you
stone
didn't
cold.
drink, okay.
Steve Austin
What?
pouring beers on my face. No, I was sober.
Okay, so how was it?
It was a good time. It was real chill. It was at Hard Rock at Universal City Walk down there. It's a great concert venue, but it was kind of like just general admission. The balcony wasn't open, so there was no seats. It was just everyone kind of punk rock style, standing at it was almost like, it's like a gym stage almost, in your gymnasium.
So like how many people?
There was literally a couple hundred people there. It was
Not
kind
like
of
a huge
small
thing.
crowd.
Okay.
But it was comfortable to say the least. Obviously, there was like nobody going crazy or anything too over the top. And because I was chill and not having drinks, I was very calm and subdued myself. I didn't know where I was going, so I couldn't bring anything to smoke either.
I was going to say, was there a very good aroma?
there was all around me, but I couldn't partake because I didn't have anything, and nobody was handing me anything. They were too far away. They were on the periphery. I would stick my hand out and I couldn't reach it.
Please, sir.
Yeah, please include me.
Wait, okay. Well, should we do the buzzword?
Let's get the
it just hit
buzzword
me-
out of the way. Thank
It just
you.
hit me right now before we, because I do want to keep talking about
Okay,
that. 'cause I
so
want
you
to see
guys
if they
don't
hold
pay
up.
attention. I'm going to
Yeah.
show it for the camera, and I will share it quietly on mic
Is
for
it
those
cover
listening.
cover eyes and ears?
Eyes and ears. Hold on. The buzzword this week is sober. We've said it several times, so you should already be drinking.
It's the first of the month. So get up, get up.
So
Are you
yeah,
done?
thank you. I like he provided like some elevator music in the background. You were doing your own crazy thing over here,
That was
John.
bebopping.
But
I don't
Matt's
know.
singing First of the Month by Bone Thugs. Kept us on
Oh,
topic.
genius! Yeah, for the first show of the month, and
Yeah, first show of the month.
Very coincidental that you went to a Bone Thugs.
Right? Well, it was their 25th anniversary tour. Is why they're touring. I wasn't sure. I was like, do they have a new album?
Man, they've been around that long.
Yeah, man. I guess their first album
By the way,
came out in
funny to inform, he
94.
doesn't hold the rights to any of the music that was sung during this episode.
Like it was a
nope.
cover. It falls under the rights of cover, so I think we're covered legally.
I would hope so.
I believe we are.
Okay, so you went to the concert. There was a bunch of aroma in the air, which would piss me off because I get kind of
It was-
jealous when
it
I'm
was
smelling it,
frustrating.
and then I can't
Right.
partake in any of that myself.
Right, and it was a
But-
surprise. I had no idea where I was going.
So and then you stood up the whole time. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you were guessing because I didn't want to tell Coleman where we were going. So not where we were going because I wasn't going, but he was sitting there telling me, "Oh, I know what it is. It's this or that or
Oh
whatever."
yeah, our
And
friend was having a comedy show that night, and he was trying to get people to come out, and it was at the exact time. It was at 8:30 or whatever, and she told me that whatever we were going to started at 8:30. So I was like, "Oh, she's taking me to that, and like not a big deal."
you
It
don't
was
you
at
don't
a
think I
bar.
would have went to that
That's
because
why I was like,
couldn't go.
"Oh, it's weird. You're not going."
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. That should have told you right then and there.
I
It's
thought you
not-
had to get home to the girlfriend. She was cracking the whip.
No. I do what I want, man.
Do whatever I
You
want.
can't tell me. You can't hold me down.
South Park throwback.
So did Bun.
Apparently, she doesn't listen to the show.
No,
Nope,
she doesn't.
Recorded an intro, did her part, and never looked back. Smartest woman ever.
That's
Shout
the
out
only way.
Sam.
It's the only way I could talk so tough. It's because she doesn't listen. And if she does, I'll apologize for it later.
I'll clip this section and send it to her.
It'll get back to her somehow.
I'll either apologize for it or pay for it later. Okay, so is Bone Thugs and Harmony still as good? Have you seen them live any time prior? Or
No, I'd never seen them live
This was your
before.
first time?
Yeah, absolutely.
okay, so was
They're,
it?
a little past their prime. And here's one knock I've always had against most hip hop groups, especially the bigger ones. If you've ever seen them live or seen video of them live, even, it's like they're just all like out there hanging out and drinking and smoking or whatever. And they're kind of playing the track in the background. And then they just might jump on for a part and maybe they'll do a whole verse, maybe they'll do a line, maybe they'll just do every end word.
So what you're saying is they dusted off the CD from 1998, put it onto the background, just kind of sang along with it a little bit.
That wasn't so much the case here, but there were definitely parts of that. And I will say, because they're a 4 or 5 person group, a couple of them I feel like were doing a much better job live performing than some of the others.
And was it one of those scenarios where they were just
Honestly, I don't know them well enough to know if it was like crazy or busy or lazy or fizzy or any of the Sleepy Gopher and Doc. I don't know which one it was, but
yeah.
Do you think if you were wasted, it would have been like maybe a better experience?
Yeah,
Or
probably, because it was just
the
like
fact that you were like sober or something
blaringly
like that?
loud music,
Yeah.
because it's just like heavy bass, But it was cool to hear like when they did their big fucking hits, like the big 3, Crossroads, First of the Month. And what was their other one? I loved it when I heard it. Oh, they have like a weed smoking song, and they had the one they did with Biggie Smalls a little later in their career, a couple of years after.
I mean, you were at least
original.
drinking, right? You weren't fully sober for this.
No, I was.
No,
I
he
wasn't
was-
drinking. I didn't. I had a tummy rumble. My tummy was aching, so I was like, I'm not going to drink anymore.
Aw.
I slammed a couple beers here, and then we were drinking Jameson and shit, and I hadn't eaten dinner, and I was like, I thought maybe we were going to dinner. Again, I didn't know where the fuck we were going. So
I just feel like Bone
just show up
Thugs
unknowing.
would have to be like one of those groups you would have to see somewhat shit-faced.
I know.
it would have helped.
Because I don't think there's a lot of choreography or anything going
No,
on. Like they don't
no,
coordinate shit.
Nope.
They're-
Like one guy's wearing a white beater and spinning his shirt around as like he's rapping
Yeah.
at some point. Like there's always one of those or something.
Why didn't you tell me you were there, bro? We could have hung out.
It's just a party.
That's what
yeah.
happened. Yeah, it was just a party on stage. I mean, it was cool, and they talked a little bit between songs. You know how bands do that.
Did
but
they get lazy and like just hold the microphone
Lazy
up to
was
the
there.
crowd?
He was rapping.
Did they hold the
There's
mic
a dude
to the
named
crowd?
Lazy Bone.
I
John
know.
Hannon.
It's hilarious.
Lazy
You're so
Bone.
funny.
No, but
Apparently John was there too.
I'm,
He's so
I'm
lazy.
being dead serious. There really is a dude named Lazy Bone, and he was holding the microphone into the crowd.
Just letting them sing the parts.
Yeah,
or-
absolutely. For like the choruses of the fucking First of the Month and Crossroads and shit. Absolutely.
I see like a lot of these bands do this now where like they supposedly pull one random person they don't know can play an instrument or sing
Oh,
up on
right.
stage.
No, it didn't
and all of a
happen.
sudden they like rock it out.
That
you
is
know?
cool though. Yeah, they'll pull like a 14-year-old kid. Oh, he says he knows every lick of the guitar solo.
somebody just get him a guitar,
right.
let's do this
And then
randomly
he's
done.
fucking famous the
Yeah.
next week, right? Nope, didn't happen.
Yeah.
Not at this giant show.
Speaking of like the
No,
20
it's cool. Like, I mean, we went
It was
into
an
it not
experience.
knowing. Yeah, we had no idea what to expect. I had never seen him. Adri took me. I'm sure she had never seen him live before.
speaking of 25th anniversaries, Friends like just went into theaters or something.
Theaters.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Friends.
I think they're playing
had-
like a couple episodes.
It's like
Oh,
it's,
okay. Like it's a replay. I was like,
Yeah.
they're making a movie.
It's only for a few days too.
Okay.
No, well, they do have extra content. Supposedly, they bring the whole crew back, and there's some never before seen stuff plus some bonus things that they
Did
guess
they promised Chandler crack? Is that how they got him? He's
He's
kind of bad off. Last I heard.
Yo, there was one season there where he was like looking healthy, and then the next season, like if you watch the end of the one episode of
I don't
season
even
whatever,
mean back then. I mean
and then-
since
No, I mean even in the middle of
post
it.
Friends career, real cracky.
There's no way he's doing better with that. I mean, unless because you're not making any more money, so you can't spend more money on drugs. So
That's
no,
fine. You
he
just
can't
suck enough dick to get the money you need for the drugs for the next hour. Then you suck another dick. Coco told me.
That's a good strategy.
well, yeah. I mean, I was just relaying what John had said.
Ah, okay.
Oh, I
comes
remember,
full circle.
Now I remember that. Yeah,
Yo, speaking of TV shows that are becoming movies, are you guys Breaking Bad fans?
yeah.
Have you seen
Oh
the-
yeah.
have you
Funny
seen
you
the
bring that
trailer
up.
For that?
El
Oh my
Camino.
God, El Camino, dude.
El Camino. We were gonna actually talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, because we were going to kind of tease the interview that we have coming up here soon with Larry Hankin. who's with actually speaking of Friends too, was Mr. Heckles on Friends.
Yeah, right.
And
what
then
a
the
weird
junkyard
circle
guy
you brought it all into.
in El
Coco
Camino.
knows what we're going to talk about. He brought up something else we were going to say last show. I love it. He's like on the wavelength.
He's a perfect.
But yeah, so we talked to Larry Hankin recently after we talked to Sid Vicious, which that shows up now. That's why our count is now off. The Sid Vicious episode is what? 108?
108, yeah. And then this
No.
is FTI Live 8. But
What?
this is episode 109.
Ah, gotcha.
So now
in
it's
the,
one
in the
behind.
stream.
I fucked
I'm
it all
lost,
up.
but
I
it's
should have
fine.
done
Where
that.
did he go, George?
Yeah, right? Anyway, the Sid Vicious is the most recent one as we were sitting and record right now tonight. And so after we talked to him, a couple days later, we talked to Larry Hankin. That'll be up soon. But he talked about, he's in the most recent teaser trailer they put out. It's called Go for Joe. He's sitting in the junkyard, and they've got cranes going in the background, like picking up all the trash and moving it around. And the phone rings in the office, and he answers the phone and says, "Go for Joe." And then you only hear his side of the conversation. And he says, "Of course I know who that is. By now everyone knows who you are." And then it cuts. It's a really short teaser trailer.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, right.
it
Like
seems
totally.
intense.
Yeah, it was shot so well too. Just for a little 10-second clip, it's like, man, it looks really.
I mean,
good.
I remember
Yeah.
him most from like Billy Madison.
He was great, Carl and
Yeah.
Billy Madison. We
Oh.
talked to him a little about that role. He definitely talks
He
about.
let us know what he thought of Adam Sandler and his
and-
comedy and the movies.
and that movie and why he did it, and he had to cut his hair and shit. It was a good interview.
Oh, and how
That'll
long
be up
ago?
soon.
Like Billy Madison was what? Late 90s, early 2000s?
No,
maybe?
it was like 94, like
gonna have to
early
pull it
90s, man. It's probably 25 years. It was out at the same time as Bone Thugs and Friends.
yeah, I know, right? That's the other way it comes full circle. It's it's all this stuff.
I'm pretty sure it
it's-
was early 90s.
It really blows your mind, like how long ago that really was. You know,
Right.
it's even like when you said Bone Thugs and Harmony's 25th
95.
95,
anniversary.
I was close. I said 94.
Jeez, yeah, that's almost 25 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like when Friends is going through their 25th anniversary, or Bone Thugs has their 25th thing. It's like, really, that was that
Yo,
long
he looks
ago?
like he ages well though. Like for being an older guy, because he looked like an older guy in Billy
I'm
Madison.
saying he looked old there, right? I
He
feel like
looked
he's
old
always
all the
kind of had
time, I
that
feel
grayish
like.
hair, yeah. And now he's just a little more, older looking in the face. But he was. Our Sid interview was great. He gave us about half an hour. Larry gave us about an hour.
Yeah, he was.
It was. I had no idea. I went into it not expecting that.
He wasn't holding back.
We got most of all of our questions out, and he could continue in
He
conversation.
looks like he
well.
could be the brother from Doc from Back to the Future.
No, he could be. He could be Skinny Doc.
yeah. His crazy brother. It couldn't be his crazy brother because Doc's already
Doc's
kind
already
of crazy.
Yeah, he's the level-headed
the-
brother. He could be Carl. He could be his character Carl from Billy Madison.
I get a good corporate job.
Where we're
while
going.
You were a mad scientist.
Where we're going, there are only roads. He's very calm. And
No,
level-headed.
yeah, but that's going to be coming out here soon, kind of, sort of soon, in the next few days. I don't know if before the next show that we do live, but which, by the way, we are doing on Twitch and YouTube and Facebook Live, twitch.tv or youtube.com
every Thursday.
Amplified Network. Yep, Thursdays at 7 p.m. And I think it is time for us to give Jeff Davis a call.
You want to give Jeff Davis a call?
Yeah, try to figure out what's been going on in the world of cinema. I know he's got some things that he's been working on, which one of the things is
We talked about it a little bit.
we were talking with Bill Foster last week, and he was mentioning his new project, Showdown on the Brazos.
Showdown on the Brazos.
And Jeff Davis
Brazos.
is one of the actors in Showdown on the Brazos. I think he's playing like a reverend or something.
Okay.
But,
I'm sure he can clue us in a little deeper on that.
yeah, and he's been doing things related to film and entertainment since about 25 years ago. If we're
Okay.
sticking to that number,
You ready
know,
to go, Amp?
It,
Cool. We got Ringy Dingy.
let's see if we.
Hello,
Hey, is this Jeff?
it is.
Hey, Jeff, it's John and Chris from Funny to Informing.
Hey man, how are you?
Good. How you doing, buddy? We brought a friend along this week too. He does a little sports segment we're going to do after we talk to you. His name's Matt. He's sitting with us tonight too.
Yellow.
Hey Matt, how are you?
Doing good, man.
Hey, okay, so we were kind of, teasing you a little bit in the beginning before we got you on the line, and it seems like your career as and primarily an actor goes back into like the mid to early 90s. So you've been at this for a long time, I see. And I just wanted to start off with pretty much what we ask everybody because everybody's story is a little bit different. How did you get into working in the entertainment and film industry?
Well, I'm from Maine, so people don't usually leave, and I I just kind of, it's something about the state that people just don't go anywhere. They don't dare to try anything different. But I was in my mid-20s, and I had my own business. I owned a fitness store. I sold fitness equipment, and kind of like a GNC. Sold clothing and some equipment and supplements. And I did a play. I thought it was kind of cool, and I kind of put it on the back burner. And then I saw this girl who was in the play with me. I saw her on a soap opera.
Okay.
And I had no formal acting training. I did a little class at the local college, did that play. And when I saw her, something clicked, and I said, you know what, that's really what I want to do. So I sold everything and just flew to L.A.
Oh,
just
okay.
Started at the ground. Hit the ground running, and started at the bottom with no training, and just learned as I went.
That's a pretty raw start. Yeah, because most people don't just like kind of dive headfirst into it like that.
And it seems like you've kind of been all over the place on all sides of the camera. You've done a little bit of everything. It's not just strictly acting.
Well, I mean, mostly acting. I've got a film that I'm trying to put together right now. That'll be my directorial debut, The Demons Within, a little horror film. But I've done some stand-in work, and I've done some stunt work, but mostly it has been acting. But
yeah, because I did notice
I am branching out now.
Yeah, because I did notice like how when you first started, it was like some stunt work and things like that. And one of the things I noticed was like Wes Craven's New Nightmare, the Freddy Krueger character. Your character in that was Freddy's hand double. Well, that's what they. Go ahead. No, I was trying to wrap my head around it and understand it, and I hope you could clear it up.
Walk us through that hand.
Yeah, actually, I was Robert Englund's stand-in and photo double. So anytime you saw Freddy and you didn't see his face, all the little hand gestures and stuff, I was doing that. But then also, they gave me a little role in the movie. I'm the opening scene in the movie. I am the actor. A movie within the movie playing. I cut my own arm off, and it shows me building this metal robotic Freddy hand, and I cut my own hand off, and I slam that on there, and then you see Wes Craven, and he's like, more blood, and so that was me in the opening scene, which was pretty cool. And that was my first movie, so it was pretty cool. And it was originally called The Creator, but for some reason it came out on the credits as hand double, and it won't change. So that's what mixes people up.
Okay. Do you have a like a genre or I guess like a category of film that you like prefer over everything else? Or like maybe horror? Is that like your preference?
No, my preference, if I had it, would be probably westerns. I love westerns.
Okay.
I've only done one, and that was this year, so my first western. But that's down the road. I would love to be able to. I'd love to do 15 or 20 more westerns. I love them.
And that's the one you're working on. You just finished up, or you're working on currently with Bill Foster, Showdown on the Brazos.
Yeah, I'm done with that, but he's still finishing it up. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually just talked to Bill last week, so it's ironic that we get you this week on having just come off, and he told us he's still kind of finishing up. He was giving us kind of some insight on shooting out there and some of the difficulties of it, but yet how much they get knocked out with his work schedule.
Because we want to follow up with it and try to promote it as best as possible. He said, they're trying to just figure out like the logistics of like where it's going to be like aired, or available to the public.
Right. Yeah, it's once he gets it edited and ready to go, then it's a process of hitting a few festivals and then finding distribution of some sort. So yeah, that's the independent film business. You just don't know where it's going to end up. You shoot it with one thing in mind and you hope for the best, but you never know.
Yeah, and I mean, there's always a lot scarier approach with independent films. It could be a hit or miss. It's up in the air like that.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the bigger money films, they actually have distribution lined up ahead of time, and that's where they get some of their money and stuff. But when you just go out and shoot a film, I mean, at least there's more options now. You've got all the cable stations and the Hulus and Netflix and such. So they usually find a home somewhere.
Okay, yeah. And with like I've noticed in like a lot of just like little things here and there, and I'm sure it seems like you've rubbed elbows with quite the eclectic group of people. Like it seems like a time or two, maybe Jay Leno, or an appearance like on the West Wing, or General Hospital, and like just things like that. I could go on by looking at your
your
IMDb.
resume is very long.
Yeah. So what do you have, like do you have a favorite story of somebody cool or somebody that you looked up to that you ran into or was able to rub elbows with?
Well, there's a couple. One of them, the biggest excitement was I showed up. I'm not realizing it till I got there on set. But I did an episode of Arliss, the TV show Arliss.
Yeah, I see
which
that
was
on your
an
list
old
here.
HBO show, and I was a kind of like an executive at a baseball stadium, and they were doing one of Arliss's clients was an ex-athlete who was coming to sign autographs, and I had to meet with him to pay him, to give him his contract and get his money and pay him his money, and it turned out that it was actually James Coburn. And I believe it was one of the last things that James Coburn ever did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was pretty cool.
That is cool to say you had that notoriety
cool.
of being on one of his final scenes.
Yeah, and I actually got to I got to meet with him and talk to him a little bit at the end of his career. So it was he's someone that I would watched for years. So that was pretty cool. And also I worked for a month on Waterworld, doubling Kevin Costner, and I remember one day I was walking along and I was in full makeup and hair and wardrobe. So I looked just, as people that knew him for years would come up behind me and say, hey, and then they realized it was me. And, but he come walking out one day and I was setting the scene with the director and the camera guys. And, we did the scene, and then Kevin comes out of his trailer and he comes walking over to me and goes, hey boy, what do I do? So it was pretty funny.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic, man.
That's a notable one to have worked on. I believe that was like one of the biggest undertakings in movies when it was made and came out.
At the time, it was. Yeah, I worked for a month on it after they came back to LA. But they were in Hawaii for what seemed to be ever, and they had left some of the crew in Hawaii. That's how he had a regular guy that worked with him, and he was in Hawaii doing some second unit stuff. So I ended up working with Kevin here for a month. So
okay,
it was pretty interesting.
Because what I like about you too, Jeff, is you actually remember some of the things that you've featured in, or stories from behind the scenes sort of stuff. Because there's been times where we've asked actors or different types of artists certain things, and they're like, I don't remember. I couldn't tell you.
Especially with a resume as long as yours, absolutely.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I feel like it's
been a long,
easy,
hard road, but
easy for you to forget some stuff. What other things are you working on in the future? Because of course, Showdown on the Brazos. I think you're playing like a reverend in that, aren't you?
Yeah, I play an Old West reverend minister, and it's actually I can't give too much away, but he's a good character. I open the movie. It starts out with me talking and. Throughout the movie, so it was a nice little role. I'm a reverend with a gun, so that's kind of cool.
That's okay.
My first question.
That sounds like a cool western.
Change one thing.
I was afraid I wasn't going to get a gun. I didn't get to ride at all, but I got to at least have a gun. So it was fun. But I did this year. I just did an episode of Station 19 for ABC, which is a spinoff of Grey's Anatomy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I see that you played Martin.
Yeah, I just did a big guest star on that. That should be coming out at the beginning of the year. Another show called Ratchet for Netflix, which is basically a prequel to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, no way.
Oh, wow.
I haven't even heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I see it on the list.
Got a great cast, an amazing cast. I have a small role in that, little guest role.
See, I hear Ratchet. I would have guessed urban comedy.
But yeah, it's actually going to be fun. It's got a crazy cast. I mean, you name these big names, they're all in it. It's going to be pretty wild. And then let's see, Showdown on the Brazos. Just another little action film called Outrage, which is also in post production. And then I'm going to hopefully be shooting my own film early next year.
Yeah, you talked about your directorial debut.
Debut.
Is there anything you can tell us about the Cordon Bleu?
French?
Yeah, it's a fun little story written by a young lady named Roberta Griffin, and I went to Ohio about a year ago to do a kind of a little toy con, kind of like a small Comic-Con type thing, an autographs, and I met some people there, and it was actually horror themed. So we get talking about it, and I told him that this woman had sent me the script. And then a few months later, that some of these people that I met back there called me up and said, "Hey, if you shoot that here, we'll help. We'll raise the money and produce it." And they have crew people back there and the whole work. So I hooked up with this little group of filmmakers in Van Wert, Ohio, and in the surrounding areas. And it's a little film. It's actually it's a possession film, and this girl gets possessed by demons, and they start by messing. They get in her cell phone and they start messaging her, and then eventually the phone rings and they get into her and they actually possess her. So
Okay, so it's like a new age, technological obsession possession movie.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that.
Basically, kids today, they don't really talk on their phones that much. They mostly just text. And this girl,
Absolutely.
she's a lonely, kind of messed up kid. She's got a lot of problems, and she's a cutter, and so she's an easy target for the demons because she's vulnerable. So she ends up going to see this spiritualist or what have you, and the demons are there, and they follow her out, and then from then on, they start harassing her and turn her life and her family's life upside down.
Hey man,
Yeah,
I know you're gonna have to let us know when this is starting to get more developed and more out there to the public, because I want to help out with at least promoting it, and I would definitely want to check it out
I
myself.
want to follow up and check it out myself for sure. Do you have a title or a working title?
It's called The Demons Within. Is the title right now.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, if you need someone that looks like a
if you
demon,
follow on-
John over here could help you out.
Follow along on, I got a Facebook page for it, The Demons Within, and also if you can Instagram, Demon Within One. Just follow me, J.S. Davis Actor. And I'll be posting stuff as we move forward.
Okay,
Cool.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Hey,
We'll cross promote that on to our group and through to our listeners as well.
yeah, so we've been sitting here with Mr. Jeff Davis, primarily an actor. Hey, man, we can't thank you enough for taking some time with us, and we're looking forward to seeing you on Showdown on the Brazos and some of the other stuff that you're coming up with.
Yeah,
here
really
soon.
looking forward to both that and The Demons Within. Since westerns are your thing,
I appreciate
I want to
it.
see you in your element, and then I'd love to see your directorial debut.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Jeff. We'll let you go, and hopefully we keep in touch.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Anytime.
Thanks,
All right.
buddy.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye now.
And we're out.
Awesome.
All right, guys, let's talk shit about that guy. Just kidding. He was awesome. I can't.
At the, I'm glad he made his Cordon de Bleu.
Cordon Le Bleu.
That was terrible. That was-
Fuck you, dude. Say debut three times.
He made his cordon de bleu on the show.
no, that was
Sorry,
that
I
was cool.
blew my load on the talkie points there, guys.
That was cool to talk to him, and I and make the connection with Showdown on the Brazos with with Bill Foster and
Well,
talking to him last
I felt
week.
like, let's mention that we talked to Bill Foster and kind of diffuse the tension.
Yeah,
And
it's
also
like
name drop. We know your boss.
we
Don't
know
fuck
a
this
guy.
interview up.
Yeah.
You'll never work in that industry again.
Yeah, we're always watching.
No, he was cool, man.
Yeah, and then Bluegill in the chat, he joined us and he says, "I was an extra in the Waterboy movie."
Sweet.
There's no
so
way that's
next week, no, I bet you he was.
Is
I'll
that
tell you
right?
why. I tell you why I believe you in a second. So next week, our guest on the phone will be Bluegill. We're going to ask him about the time he saw Adam Sandler's stunt double from across a field.
Wait, so how do
Sounds
you,
interesting,
So how do
though.
you know that he was in The Waterboy?
Because does anybody here know where the Waterboy movie was filmed? Most of it, like most of the football scenes.
Probably a high school around here.
Yeah, I do. DeLand.
DeLand,
Yeah,
at
so
the
the main-
Stetson. It was a shared field for Stetson and DeLand High.
It's not DeLand High, but it's one of the bigger high schools out there because Stetson
DeLand High.
Stetson didn't have a football team until
Oh
recently.
yeah, you're right. Well, now they're using that stadium. It's called Spec Martin Stadium. It's
didn't
in
know
DeLand.
that.
I know that because I lived in DeLand and worked there forever. And people would tell me all the time, "Oh, I was there for the filming." I meet people all the time. If you bring up Waterboy, they'll be like, "Oh, I was there. I was an extra, or I was in the crowd. Probably a crowd extra." I'm assuming.
So
Bluegill.
I mean, I guess it is believable then. Wow.
Adri said that was interesting. I don't need your smug.
Don't patronize
bullshit.
us.
Yeah,
If you're,
patronization. That's the word.
Nobody
I'm going
likes
for.
a
Hi,
lie.
We don't
Adrian. I
need that.
still love you. If you want me to smack him, just let me know.
Yeah. We're this close to each other.
Yeah. Okay. So we have really not much else to get to. There was one thing I wanted to bring up.
got some digis.
Well, not really.
Oh, shit.
Do we though? We
Yeah.
have Scoop on the group, and then there was
Thanks,
one thing-
Bluegill, once
Yeah,
again,
I was going to say, speaking
for
of them,
participating.
before we get to that though, there was and then the sports. I wanted to talk about this.
Sportsing with Matt.
So, and this one thing before that, Amber Geiger, she's
So
been
we were doing that in Digis.
like breaking the news. We don't really have DigiHears.
Okay,
Why do you
cool.
think DigiHears is going to happen?
I don't know.
I keep telling you, it's
I,
not.
I have one Digi
Stop
here.
making Did You Hear a thing?
I thought it
He's
was
like,
a
it's not
weekly
gonna have
thing.
Digis.
Fuck it. You know what? Yeah. Did you hear? We used to have a segment called Did You Hears.
Yeah,
It's not a thing this week.
Well, okay, so for this week, it's right now, and we have one. It's
I love
Amber
it.
Geiger.
Thanks. Cool.
Yeah.
Way to patronize me after calling for people not to patronize us.
Speaking
Hey
of
Coleman,
that, yeah,
did you hear the Falcons suck?
that's
I
on
did
you.
hear because I haven't seen but like 10 downs of football all
No,
year.
Coco predicted the Falcons to do well, so that's partially his fault.
I said
too.
that was a sleeper team.
You might have jinxed it, though.
No.
Okay, so Amber Geiger, she's from Dallas, Texas. She got put away recently, but she was on trial for murdering somebody, going into somebody else's apartment. She thought it was hers.
The
She
police
was
officer lady.
Yeah, a police officer.
Off-duty police officer.
Yeah, she had just gotten home or something. All the lights were out in this apartment that she walked into. I guess she thought it was hers. They all probably looked the same. And then she shot somebody that was sitting down just eating ice cream, watching TV, minding their own business.
In their own apartment.
So pretty much,
which she
like-
thought was her apartment. Because
Yeah.
she was distracted. She was on the completely wrong floor. She was a floor below
And I guess
her.
the door's usually unlocked in her apartment or something.
No,
Probably.
no. See,
'Cause
yeah,
how do
I
you
got a
get
bunch
in?
of details on this week. They believe that the door was left not fully closed because they think he had a guest coming and he left the door just pushed to, so
okay.
that whenever whoever he expected to come in came over, which is probably why he didn't freak out when she came through the door. He probably just kept sitting there thinking whoever he was expecting to come over had arrived.
Well, shit, and she freaked out.
Well,
That's
and
for
she
sure.
freaked out and very trigger happily pulled out her gun. I guess she yelled a command, and then right behind that command pulled the trigger twice. The first bullet missed him, and the second bullet killed him.
It's weird that
The
you're
first bullet missed him. The
Sure,
second
you weren't
bullet
on
killed him.
Waterboy too?
He's trying to be.
I wasn't an extra. I was the star.
He's trying to be sober all month, and then he goes and is the worst at tying his tongue.
That's what happens with functioning alcoholics.
Yeah, his most sober element.
Yeah,
and
I'm
he's fucking up.
misfunctioning with no alcohol.
Yeah, you're breaking.
You
down.
gotta put oil in your engine, guys. I'm just
You're
saying.
shutting down.
Yo, but
It's,
speaking of her, did you see what happened at the trial though with the dude's brother?
Yeah.
supposedly, he's
I heard
forgiven
that.
her.
I heard it. I heard.
He
I heard
forgiven.
what
He asked the
said.
judge to like if he could give her a hug.
If he
Like
could
they
hug her,
embraced for
because
like
they're
a good
super
like
religious.
couple minutes.
Here's the weirdest part. Afterwards, man, we're jumping around, but after the fact, speaking of hugs and the judge hopped off the bench, walked over to where she was sitting to hear her sentencing, and gave her a Bible and hugged her herself. It was a female
Really?
judge. Yeah.
Well, I
think
mean-
the judge might be going for some notoriety, like trying to get famous, like some Belvin Perry or some Judge Ito. Anybody remember Judge
Judge
Ito other than me?
The OJ case.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good job, John
Well,
Hannon. You were too.
I'm more like Pauly Shore movies when he's referencing from what was the jury movie that he did.
Jury Duty.
Jury Duty, yeah.
Terrible movie. But so
it's Judge Ito.
so yeah, all the I got a bunch of details on this. The details behind how could she? I remember when the story happened. It was only a year ago, which is another thing that I find very amazing. The quick turnaround on this trial. Normally, jury trials
Usually it
drag
takes
out for years
forever,
and years,
yeah.
right? But I guess initially when this happened, they gave her what I thought she should have been charged with, manslaughter, because of she didn't have necessarily the intent. There was no premeditation. She didn't plan to murder this guy. She did what she thought she needed to do had she been in the right place at that time, her own apartment. She happened to not be.
Yeah, because she didn't try to
she
lie.
was
She didn't say
distracted.
I didn't do it.
No,
she
yeah,
did.
she immediately called 911.
And she was
I was
sorry.
like, oh, somebody's in my apartment. She walked out to the door, looked at the number outside the door, and that's when it all hit her. Oh my God, this is not my apartment. I thought I thought he was in my house. I
think the only reason it got kicked up for a little bit worse though is the fact that she is a police officer, the fact that she does carry protective
Apparently there was
he's
a
a
social-
black male, which
Yeah, so that
it always
definitely
fuels it a little more.
Exactly, but in retrospect, that had no bearing because it was dark. He had no more clue she was white than she had any clue he was black.
No, yeah,
it just so
no.
happened to be that way. That had nothing to do with the case. But there was a social outcry in that. Oh, you guys are playing favorites. Yeah, playing favorites because it's a cop. and you're not charging her with what you should charge her with, and like 2 weeks later it was up to murder, which I don't know. Obviously I wasn't sitting on that grand jury, so I don't have every detail, but from what I've heard, and I've heard a lot about this case even back when it happened to now when it's all kicking back up with her conviction and her sentencing now, which is 10 years, by the way.
Yeah, that's how it ended, and
yeah,
she's like 5 years.
But I felt like, I don't know, maybe that was over judgment.
Well,
on
she
their
can
part
get
to
out on
push it to murder.
5 years.
I mean,
after-
how do you really judge somebody who pulled the trigger and killed somebody? Like,
Well, you have to. It's all the circumstances around surrounding it. Did she drive over there with malice in her heart because she's mad or angry? Was it a crime of passion? You know, those are different things.
well, those are death penalties.
Well, yeah, and I don't even know if they do death penalties in Texas anymore. But
It's Texas, yes, they
yeah,
do death
you're probably right.
penalties.
They,
Like-
they did 5 this morning. Who am I kidding? But yeah, I guess she was looking at like anywhere from 5 to 99 years. And I guess they came down with 10. And I don't know, is there
Which
going to be any
I-
good behavior time for that? Can you get out unless?
Probably, and then
I don't know.
maybe based on like her service to the community, like if she had like, because they'll look at that maybe past criminal record. Service to
Absolutely,
the
which I feel
community,
she's going to be 0 because she's a
Yeah.
cop, you know. And I guess the details in how it happened. Everybody, the whole time when it happened, I was asking, how does it happen? How do you not realize? Like, I could totally have parked on the wrong floor, maybe walked almost to the wrong door, but I felt like I would have noticed prior to
That's why I'm
getting to the
surprised like
wrong
there was
door.
no alcohol involved.
Yeah,
I
no
know,
alcohol,
yeah.
no marijuana. She wasn't high. Apparently, her distracting, the things that bring weighing into her distraction, where she was working a lot of overtime, so she was extra tired, and she was coming home after her shift from having sex with another police officer, I think, or I don't know if he was a cop or not, but she was in this sexual relationship with somebody. She was leaving his place, going home, and I guess was receiving back and forth the whole drive home and the whole walk from the car to the house. They were sexting, and so she was all in her phone and not paying attention to her surroundings at all. And I don't know. I guess that could happen. It happened.
Yeah.
So there's your proof that it does happen. But
Honestly, I feel 10 years, it might be a little bit light just because.
you feel it's light?
I feel it's light.
I feel it's about right, if not maybe a little heavy.
I see. I feel it's light just for the fact that you did take a human life
You're right.
while being a police officer. You know, so I think when you have that honor, that privilege, that responsibility,
And that issued weapon
yeah,
that she used to kill somebody with. Right.
really quickly too, as opposed to just taking a second just to figure everything out. She pulled up and shot him really fast.
I mean,
Yeah, she did.
It's not
She
like
did.
I don't.
She was
Think,
quick
it's not
on
like
the
she was
trigger.
wearing like all her other stuff. She didn't have the taser. Like she was probably just had her sidearm with her. You know,
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and that being said,
And it
in
can't
her
be a
own
slap
home,
on the
if that
wrist.
was her house, if she was one floor above that, in her actual home, she would have been absolutely justified to do that, and she would probably have walked. So that being said, I guess you got to take that into account. But I don't know. I
It's,
feel like it was
it's
a quick way.
Yeah, because I just feel like with
A
the
quick
training
reaction.
that she's supposedly have received on how to diffuse situations, on how to be able to subdue potential, like
Right.
because
Assess the situation
everything that I heard
before
is
you
like he
react to
wasn't
it.
charging at her, like he was like a good distance away.
That's what I'm to understand.
So
as
that's
well.
what I'm saying. Like there was no like he didn't have anything in his hands. Like there was no like suspicion of, oh my god, I need to shoot to kill, otherwise I'm going to be killed right away. So I think
Right.
that's why it more went to murder versus manslaughter.
Okay.
Like if he had reacted like, oh my god, somebody's breaking into my house, and then there was more of a confusion because there was a struggle or
Right.
he lunged at her at the
Right,
time,
right.
then maybe okay, you know, she's still guilty of at least manslaughter, but the fact that you don't see any evidence of him combative, of him fighting back, of him
Right.
showing intent to harm her with how
Right.
quick that trigger
yeah,
was.
and I think
And
that's
again,
that's where the most of the sentencing comes in.
Yeah, and I guess
think
she
it
did
was
give a
the
command
impulsive-
to sit or arms up or whatever the command was, and then I guess he didn't comply. But from what I understand, is it happened so quickly. I don't know if he would have had time to.
Yeah, I was
comply.
gonna say it just seems like an impulsive thing, and I think that's where most of the sentencing is coming from. Like hopefully after the time that she serves, she could come out and say, maybe next time I won't just, react and.
Well, she's
and
not going to be allowed
squeeze.
to ever carry a gun again.
Oh
so.
no, yeah, oh nope, take that away for
Yeah.
sure.
Nope, you can just buy them on the streets, guys. Let's talk about gun control.
She's gonna put on a mustache and go into Walmart.
Look,
and yeah, and get
still
one.
the craziest thing to me is I actually watched the entire thing from the brother though on his speech.
Yeah, I heard
on
that. I
wanting
heard that
to-
just earlier today. Actually,
on wanting to give her a hug, like the emotion that he had for that kid to be that strong to go up to somebody who took his older brother away, totally give forgiveness. And he literally begged the judge on the stand, like he's like, I would like to give her a hug, and the judge was kind of hesitant, and you could hear the tears in his eyes when he said, "Please."
Well, apparently, they're all super religious. Part of what he was saying was, I forgive you. I hope you go to God and apologize.
He's like, I
for the
wish you
tone
didn't
for
have to go
this,
to jail.
and I feel like he'd forgive you, and he didn't want. Yeah, when I heard it was like it's like some tear jerking shit. Like it's deep, dude.
And the fact is,
I feel for everybody involved in this,
Well,
man,
well,
because I feel like she's super legitimately remorseful, dude.
But in the
not
fact
just
to
because she's
see
going
that,
down,
like when,
'cause
when,
she
there,
killed
when there's
somebody.
incidents like this, people like to really like to kind of push it to the extreme, especially when like a police officer is involved with something like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
Because there
It
was
polarizes it more
marches
so.
and stuff like that, but I didn't hear anything
Yeah.
severe with the march. But the fact that the family really kind of stepped in and was like, "We forgive you." I wish nothing but love and the best
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Like I know it was an accident,
And that's
type thing.
extremely rare.
Especially, unfortunately, number one, in a race situation when it's white versus black. Also, too, being a cop versus a civilian. Like,
Right.
you don't see that at all. Normally, it's, unfortunately to say, is you want as bad as punishment as possible, and you also want to make as much money as possible off of it as well.
Right.
From selling your story to suing the police department to
Absolutely.
doing whatever you want to do. And this family's just like, we're hurting enough, you're hurting enough.
Yeah,
Man,
let's
it
just
is
try to
a-
console each other through this terrible time.
It's a tough situation for sure.
So, natural segue, sports.
Yeah, that's going to be the next thing we got.
Speaking of killing.
as we're winding down.
Did you
here.
hear sportsing's going on?
Hey, well, it's the last few weeks actually in the NFL anyway, because we're going to talk about MLB postseason too a little bit since October just kicked off, and then
Okay, we're gonna
the
have to
hockey
push through
season
this,
just
bro.
came in. No, there's really not much to get to with those. It's
real quick.
That's
but
fine.
the NFL, yeah, it's been a pretty wild first few weeks. I'm going to chalk it up to scheduling because I
I'm
don't
not even
think
talking about the scheduling. No, it has nothing to do with scheduling. The amount of injuries that are going on for most teams, especially with the starting
Injuries.
quarterbacks. I think there's been at least 11 starting quarterbacks that have been hurt for at least one game where they've had to have backup quarterbacks in. Some of the bigger name guys are going down too.
Roethlis elbow.
Roethlisberger. Nick Foles went down in week 1. Now you got Minshew mania.
Oh, really? I didn't even know
yeah,
Foles went down.
I mean,
Breeze is out for
Breeze is out
6
for
weeks or
6
something.
to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of been amazing. Like not only with the injuries, but I picked the Jets to win their division, and
they're 0-3.
and they're 0-3 because their quarterback caught freaking mono. Like so, it's like, oh yeah, hey, all right, awesome job. And they
Yeah,
got a lot of
there's been weird flu. Yeah, Jalen Ramsey from the Jaguars came down with the
that's
flu.
a whole nother story.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Some of these
so-
sicknesses.
That cocaine flu will get you.
But I mean, the Patriots look on point again. The Bills played them really tough, which was kind of surprising. And if the Bills quarterback didn't get knocked out, the Bills might have been able to pull that one out. But the NFC North is looking extremely tough with the Vikings, the Bears, Green Bay. I mean, the Vikings are kind of falling off a little bit, but Detroit has been playing people extremely tough. Almost upset the Chiefs last weekend. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a ride this year. Just to kind of see what's going on. And I love that the Cowboys finally played a real team, even with a backup quarterback, and the Saints.
Well, some of
beat them.
that's why I was mentioning the scheduling a little bit. It's like because people are like, oh, the Patriots are 4-0 and they're amazing and they're this and that, but they played the Dolphins and then they played.
Yeah, let me sound like a college fan. Who they play?
Well,
But look at their strength of schedule.
Yeah, the strength of schedule.
Well, the Cowboys,
is
the Cowboys crushed, or not the Cowboys. The Patriots crushed the Steelers week 1. That was when Roethlisberger was healthy. They had their full lineup in.
Yeah, I think that was their
Right.
best matchup.
Man, that was way back when
they destroyed
Antonio
the
Bryant
Dolphins.
was slightly crazy.
Yeah, and then the Patriots
Just
played the
baby
Jets,
crazy.
correct?
Yeah, and then they played the Jets
Jets.
with a backup, with a third string quarterback. Defensive players hurt, so. But they played the Bills. Like I said, they only won 16-10. The Bills were undefeated at that point in time as well too. Played them tough. Patriots do have a really good defense this year. Brady's kind of Brady, but they have a little bit of injury problems on their offensive line, and the receivers are a little bit banged up. So it's going to be interesting for them. Kansas City looks like it has a pretty strong offense, but their defense still isn't kind of holding anyone down.
Yeah, because, between undefeated teams, it's the Chiefs, it's the Patriots, and then 49ers.
The 49ers,
Did
yeah.
you think the 49ers would be undefeated at this point?
No, honestly, I don't think many people did. I think
No.
a lot of people thought the 49ers would be an improved team. But, I mean, there's so many 2-2 and 3-1 teams right now. I mean, your bottom feeder teams are kind of your bottom feeder teams, which a lot of people predicted in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, the whole AFC South is 2-2. Texans, Colts, Jags, Titans,
Yep.
all 2-2.
That's gonna be-
Dolphins, more like manatees, am I right?
I did not say Dolphins.
I got nothing. I was just looking at the record.
Yeah.
Big
That's
old
going to be
goose
an
egg.
interesting.
Yeah,
that's going to be
0-4.
an extremely interesting battle with that division, though, for the rest of the way through. And Like all the teams have an opportunity. Jacoby Brissett really stepped in nice for Andrew Luck, and he's played a lot better. But credit to that offensive line to keeping him upright.
How's his neck beard?
His neck beard.
Is it Luck capacity, or is he still building that up? All right,
But everyone's favorite, the Texans, who a lot of people had running away with that division, just have no offensive line. They can't keep Deshaun Watson up. And the biggest problem is he's being hit and sacked more than any other quarterback in the league right now. And he's not an overly big guy that it's eventually going to catch up to him. And when you have all those weapons, you can't get the ball to him when you're on your back.
Yeah. And I mean, those players are getting open, and they have good receivers: Hopkins, Fuller, and then
Kenny Stills.
It's Kenny Stills. I mean, so they have receivers.
Carlos Hyde has stepped up into running back position.
Yeah, but I mean, and if Watson ever that's one of those positions too, where like sometimes it's kind of like a classic car or something. When a quarterback gets injured, they rarely come back the same, and so that's why I'm kind of worried about with like Roethlisberger and Breeze going through their injuries. I'm thinking that might be almost the end of them.
Yes and no. You got to remember with Breeze though, is Breeze went through a major arm injury going from the Chargers to New Orleans, and a lot of people never thought he would play again because anyone who'd ever had that injury in the past, their career was done.
Really?
And after that injury,
that was forever ago though, right? Because that was like first season or second.
That was like
season.
his third or fourth season because he was coming to the end of his contract. Chargers, he got hurt. He got hurt during the year. Chargers ended up drafting Phillip Rivers. Breeze played the following year, and then they ended up not re-signing him because he got hurt.
Oh,
He
yeah.
jacked his shoulder up, and he was actually the Dolphins had the choice between Drew Brees and Dante Culpepper, which would have stabilized their
UCF Knights, baby.
And
How stupid of a move that was that now.
Well, I mean, Culpepper was a great quarterback at the time coming out of Minnesota, like from the Vikings.
It was
He
Randy
played
Moss,
really
I think,
well.
was what made him look good.
Randy Moss, Chris Carter, but he was a bigger quarterback. He was very mobile, and he had a strong arm. But he was coming off an injury too, and has never fully recovered from that going into that system.
And when Breeze is like 5'11" or 6 foot flat, maybe
he's
a shorter.
They say 6 foot.
Yeah, I see him jumping
They always
over.
add though. They always add, just like wrestlers.
Yeah, it's
they
but
always
his
add
cleats are 2
height
inches.
and weight. Exactly. A motherfucker ain't 6 feet.
Yeah. Okay. So
If he's 6 feet, his birthmark's only the size of a grape. We all know that's false on both accounts.
I like that
Sorry.
thing. Okay, so of the teams that haven't won yet, so we got the Jets 0-3, Dolphins 0-4, Broncos 0-4, Bengals. So of
The Bungles are really living up to the name this year.
Of the Bengals, Broncos, Jets, Dolphins, Redskins, and Cardinals, who do you think can turn it around?
None of them.
None of them. There's no saving their seasons.
There's no saving their seasons. I mean, if I had to choose one, it would probably be the Broncos, just because of the fact that they do have a solid defense, although they did just lose Bradley Chubb for the rest of the season to a torn ACL, which is one of their top pass rushers. Flacco's been there before, so he can just kind of control the game, but the fact that they let the Jaguars come back last week with a rookie quarterback to lose that when they should have had that game in hand. I mean, the Cardinals have looked on and off this year. Kyler Murray, I think, is going to be overall a really good quarterback once they kind of get him some more offensive line help and stuff like that, but all these teams, they're really playing for the bottom of the barrel. And there's a game, week 15, where it's going to be the Dolphins and the Bengals. And there's a lot of predictions right now that both those teams are going to be 0-15 going into that.
Wow, so one of them's going to screw up the other one's
number one overall draft choice.
Unbeaten streak.
So there's really,
the
like
Bengals -2, the Dolphins 0.
It's a win for the Dolphins. Am I right?
Somehow the game ends 0-0 in overtime in a tie. So they got a coin flip for the number one pick.
Yeah, and somehow, what team is it that has a tie already? That's
there's a couple.
The Cardinals.
The Lions and the Cardinals.
The Cardinals and Lions have a tie, and it's
Bears,
come on.
Oh my. I don't know. I got nothing, guys. I'm trying to add content to y'all's sports bonus.
He's trying to do the not your father dad jokes.
Yep.
Well, your Braves are up right now 3-2.
Go Bravos.
And the Breeze birthmark thing was real good. That
No,
was a
it
good
wasn't.
one. No,
it was a good topic. It wasn't a good joke. It's fine.
The
That was
neckbeard.
ahead.
Andrew
one.
Luck neckbeard.
Yeah, that was it.
Good
Okay,
references.
all right.
Okay, so and what about the MLB postseason? It's October, so it's always
It is October. Tampa won the wild card game
Sober
yesterday.
October.
Washington Nationals came back and beat Milwaukee, which was kind of a crazy ending to that game to win their wild card game. Tonight, Atlanta versus St. Louis. Atlanta should win the series outright. Might go to 5 games, but I think it'll be in 4. It's best of 5 series.
only in the first round is it best of 5, right?
Yeah, only
And
in the
then
first round is best of 5, then it's best of 7 the rest of the way.
Right.
Honestly, I mean, the teams really to look at right now from coming out of each, the Dodgers should three-peat going to the World Series.
So they're beating the Nationals in the first series?
Yeah, they should crush the Nationals in the first series. They just way too much firepower on that team. And the Astros, their starting pitching is insane. They have a really solid bullpen, and from top to bottom in that batting order, they have power, they have speed. Like
The last few years, they've been coming into their own. They've been establishing themselves. I like Houston.
And I really hope you don't have any Yankees fans, because my upset for the playoffs is actually going to be the Indians upsetting the Yankees in the first round.
Oh, it's the Twins.
Or the Twins, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The Twins.
Yeah. 'Cause
Twins.
the Twins were cranking out a ton of home runs this year.
So you like
they
the
have already
Twins
pitching.
for the World
Yeah.
Series?
I like the Twins
just
to
to
beat the
be-
Yankees in the first round. They'll lose to the Astros.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, everybody's all high on the Astros. I was like, the Astros.
Their-
I forgot about the
Their
Astros ever
pitching is
since
just
Bad News
so
Bears.
insane. Yeah.
What have they done since the Bad News Bears? Not much.
Well, there was a long time there where they were a pretty shitty team, but now they are back on it for a few years
and
now.
they're built for the long haul. They're built for the next at least 5 years to be a top contending team.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then and there's really not much to say right now because the season just started with the NHL. They're dropping the puck, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yesterday was the
Dropping the
first
puck.
games. Some good games going on. I mean, it should be another interesting hockey season. I'm not a huge hockey guy. I'll pay attention a little bit to it, but
I'd say you are.
I'm bigger than you.
Oh, you mean fan? Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, isn't that calling the kettle black? All right, yeah, the season's underway, and I would like to think that the Flyers are going to do pretty well for the hockey season, but
I mean, it's got to be a revenge season for Tampa. Tampa really has to come out on fire this year.
Yeah, right. Didn't they get totally? They were super hot all year, and then they
Tampa
got
destroyed
smoked.
everyone last year. Like
Yeah, and
Tampa
then
had
swept,
best
right?
record,
Swept in the
and they got
finals or the
swept
playoffs?
in the first round of the playoffs. So they were the 1 seed. They lost to the 8 seed. They got swept. So Tampa's got to come out with some fire.
But it's the
this year.
Golden Knights. They came because they had just started. They're a brand
2
new
years
fucking
ago,
team, and are all of a sudden at the top 3 teams in the league. And
Yeah, the
Are
Knights-
they still like? They
Yeah,
finished
yeah.
up?
the Knights
Oh,
last
yeah.
night played San Jose. They won 4-1. Won some good money on that game. But yeah, like the Knights are a good team. Tampa's a good team. I think you'll have some of your traditional powerhouses in there. I think the Red Wings might surprise a few people this year. They got a lot of really good young players. Colorado should be pretty solid this year. Pittsburgh, just depending on how Crosby and all them guys do out there.
He's still playing. I
Yeah.
didn't recognize that name. Okay.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, there's a hockey name I know.
Even I recognize that
Yeah,
name.
how's Gretzky doing?
There's like excitement there when you hear somebody
Yeah.
that you
I
recognize.
But yeah, I mean, it definitely should be an interesting hockey season. And I mean, we'll see. There's a lot of games on tonight, so kind of see where they left
To
off.
say the least.
Well, and there's 82 of them, so it's
It'll
going to be a long
definitely
season.
be cool
Oh, it's going to be cool.
out there on the ice.
Mm.
Bring a sweater. I got nothing.
All right.
It's funny that you guys
All right.
bring up. You mentioned
we-
baseball, and you kind of did the little wrap up there. Did you hear that Baseball Hall of Famer David Ortiz is back and pretty much fully recuperated after being shot in the Dominican Republic over the summer?
He was recovered from it?
Well,
Okay.
he threw out the first pitch. I feel like for the end of the regular season, kind of throw out to the postseason.
Yeah, he's still got a long road recovery because he had.
but he's
a
well enough
lot
to
of-
come out and throw
Yeah.
the first pitch, and just kind of say hello to everybody.
For Boston? Like
Yeah.
Boston?
yeah, threw it out for
their
Boston.
opening game?
That
Yep.
was like 3 weeks ago, but yeah.
No, I thought it just happened like last week. It was,
was like 2
it was good, man. Don't call me on my times.
Hey.
But in a bittersweet turn, right afterwards, he celebrated with traditional Dominican rum and passed away shortly after. Rest in peace, Big Papi.
Oh. Okay.
Don't drink things in the Dominican.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's the
Okay.
moral of my story.
Okay.
More of
yeah.
a moral of a story,
Well, and that
less
pretty
of a
much
joke.
That pretty much wraps it up. Honesty and humor is just brutal. I like it when you have the puns better. The more pun heavy
More
stuff
puns.
is what
People
I'm
hate
looking
puns.
for.
Just me. Just
I-
I love puns.
See, here's the thing. I don't like puns, but I still want more of them.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
It doesn't.
No. I
You like to be punished, apparently.
Yeah. See, he loves it. Look at him. He's got a pun boner.
See, I hated that, but love it so much. I can't explain it. Yeah, and that just about wraps it up for us this week. Coco, thank you for coming on
Thanks
again.
for having me, guys.
We'll see you at the top of the month for November.
The first of the month.
Call Matt our monthly.
Yeah.
Aunt Flo has
I'm your
arrived. It's
monthly
the first of
Flo.
the month.
we hope you guys enjoy listening as much as we enjoy chatting and shooting the shit. You can laugh with us or at us. It doesn't matter. And Coleman.
Tip your pizza maker. The buzzed word was sober. Ironically enough.
Sober, which
Every
I
time we
still
said
am.
sober, you should be taking a drink.
Sober October.
Sober October.
Oh,
and I'll
that's a
bring
couple
you. I'll
drinks
bring
right
you
there.
special pizzas picks next week for not getting to it this week.
Oh,
Actually,
pizza-
it's more fitting next week.
Oh,
it's
and
more
we did,
fitting.
We did have a scoop on the group. I don't
we'll
want to
bring
get to
that
it
next
right
week,
now.
too.
Yeah, we'll bring that next week. If anybody really needs to know, love bugs are not from Florida. They're from Central America, and then they migrated over here. Okay.
They don't eat mosquitoes.
Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in. We
Spoiled.
will see you guys for episode 110. And yeah.
Yeah, FTI Live
And
110.
FTI Live 9.
Somewhere
Nine, I
between
don't know.
109 and 120. Like
Right.
just-
There you go.
Yes. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
We were supposed to do or something.
Welcome. We thank you for listening with us today. We ask that you please stow away and secure all important items. There are no emergency exits.
Okay,
So
so maybe that
just
could be
sit
the
back,
case, but I don't
relax,
know. BT
fasten your earbuds, and enjoy.
Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida.